to create the middle class. Yes, we created the middle class in Petaling Jaya, later on in Shah Alam. In Petaling Jaya, we had those little industries, you know, Nestle and all these little companies. But actually the middle class are the teachers. We have about 400,000 people and more if we include teachers from the various states. These are people who are in the middle class. It is the middle class which understood the meaning of profession. The British brought in some Indians from India because they were using English, who were medical doctors and who worked in the public works department, who were engineers of some sort. So Chinese were for the most part business people, with some Chinese who were professional in Hong Kong and Canton and Shanghai and elsewhere, who were doctors. But slowly, over the 50 years of independence, we had the professions, the so-called pure professions, doctors and lawyers and engineers, etc. They were not researchers. They were students of the sciences, and they were great practitioners of their professions. So although we had several thousand, and it's exciting to study every one of the professions. For instance, in the field of architecture, there were not great increases in the number of architects over the years because it's so difficult to pass part 3 of the exam. In the medical sciences and in law and in engineering, the professional bodies control entry into the profession more than the universities. So we have people who are highly educated, the most privileged in the domain of academia, but they were practitioners. They were not researchers. But what happened to the country was, over the last 50 years, the new sphere of Malaysia, in almost every family, we have an understanding of what a profession is. A teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, an architect. And that, not intrusion, that entry into the mental psyche of families created something new in Malaysia. Shifted the society. And so we became an achieving society. McClellan's book, an achieving society. So we had the P economy, the K economy, and now the innovation economy. And for 50 years, we say, Malaysia boleh. We can do it. But so far, only as consumers of knowledge and only as practitioners. It was only during the last few years, driven by the new sphere from the outside world, that we begin to talk about researchers. But if we look at our university population now, we have about approximately, plus minus, 80,000 academicians, only a few thousand professors and associate professors, most of whom do not do research. A little publish or perish, but for the most part, most of our professors are appointed to top positions along the administrative route, more managerial than academic professorial up to now. But now is a period of change. Now is a period of change. Now is where we must move on and move from being a consumer, knowledge-consuming society to a knowledge-creating society. From being an achieving society, achieving by the transfer of knowledge from outside through the FDIs, foreign direct investment, to the situation of the creation of knowledge from inside out. And this could happen if the professorial class can inspire. We are going towards the 40% of the age cohort getting university degrees. We can inspire the next generation to indulge a little in research, and also to consider becoming researchers lifelong. And I'm so glad that a colleague over there said he knows of one researcher who can make a living from research. We must create a situation where we have a critical mass of Malaysians who are researchers, who can make a living from research, just like our artists can make a living from their arts, and our sportsmen can make a living from their sports, and our other people from other professions can also make livings from their professions. So we are at a very exciting turning point. The hypes. What will be, this is imagination and science and research. What will be the 10 hottest jobs? Tissue engineers, stem cell research, gene programmers. You can decide what sex and what kind of intelligences you want your children to be. If you want your children to be ulamas, you can intervene with the genes. Avatar fashion. I'm using avatar as a metaphor. Farmers, crops genetically engineered for therapeutic proteins, etc. We already have the Tongkat Ali and Fatima and all the rest, like ginseng, very exciting biotechnological. We have Frankenfood monitors, we have data miners, etc., etc. Exciting. Jobs that will disappear, teachers, schools of the future, very interesting. Printers, stenographers, etc. Prison guards, because prisoners will be planted with microscopic implants. And when we think of our research, the benchmarks of innovation, and this is US benchmark, education benchmark, workforce benchmarks, etc., etc., etc. Now let's take University Kebangsaan Malaysia. University Kebangsaan conceptualized, and it has the most number of professors in the country, I think, besides UIA. It conceptualizes a knowledge ecosystem, and it has decided that it's going to mobilize all its academicians into these niche areas, which are, first, nation building. And this is humanities and social sciences, etc. Second, biodiversity for biotechnology development. Next, renewable energy, medical and health technology, climate change, nanotechnology, and advanced materials, sustainable regional development, and content-based informatics. And I love this, multidisciplinarity. National and global interests and impact on policies, on technologies, and on the quality of life. That's it. University Kebangsaan, as one of the top universities in the world ranking, whether it's the British or Shanghai ranking or other ranking. How long more? Oh yeah, okay. Etc., etc. And University Kebangsaan reflects what the MOHE conceptualizes. And MOHA reflects what the government of Malaysia conceptualizes. The government of Malaysia reflects what the advisors from all over the world are advising them. And so UKM is an institution which reflects what's happening in the world. Just one moment, Missy.